had the first speech and you had the introduction about entrepreneurship. I am a passionate entrepreneur. I'm all about entrepreneurship. That's the reason why I wake up in the morning and go to sleep in the evening, is to create entrepreneurial ecosystems. And what entrepreneurs do is to go beyond their comfort zone. So basically, at this time, I was supposed already to be picked up by a taxi and drive to the airport. But you know how it is, you have to adapt to the situation. So my speech is going to be shorter. I'm going to go through it in a way, but there is only one reason why I'm speaking here today. In fact, it wasn't planned until Friday, so that's what entrepreneurs do, is you grab the opportunity when it shows up. You don't sit and wait until it's planned, like the 3 years ahead. As Habib just said, it's more about really having this opportunity of doing things really fast. And my reason here to be here today, especially for the young people here, is to inspire you to go and really become an entrepreneur, and for all the companies and the corporates and governmental people from the government, is to see how much advantage there is to entrepreneurship, and that basically you do not have an option. There is no alternative to entrepreneurship. Why is that? Very simple. There are an estimate about 100 million new entrepreneurs worldwide every year. Which means that by 2020, there is going to be 1 billion entrepreneurs worldwide. This is the setting we are having because of two main reasons. One is the technological development has made it possible that things can happen and they are not that expensive and you can really go on a global space. And secondly, it has never been that cheap and that easy to start a company. On the other hand, the corporates, as Habib just explained, the works of earlier and the traditional way of doing things does not work any longer. You need structures that are totally different. I am here speaking to you from a different perspectives, as an entrepreneur, as an investor, angel investor, as a philanthropist, but also as a coach and trainer and advisor in terms of entrepreneurship, because that's the way things are happening. We need people to start changing the mindset into problem solving, solution-oriented thinking. I don't care how you want to call it. As Habib said earlier, it's not about really, if you call it this way or the other, it's about your mindset of not sitting back and sitting and waiting for things to happen and saying, okay, like for example, in the UN Human Charter, it says that every human being to get a job. And again, it works, okay? And we are saying the human rights charter should be changed into every human being should have the right to get a job, but also to create a job. Why not? Why do we have to sit in this passive situation and wait for things to happen? It's about our drive and it's about capability to really do things and to make them the way we want it. A very simple rule. The world is yours and it's up to you to change it. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it the way they want it. It will not be the way you want it. So can we get this thing so that it works, please? Okay. Does it work? Can you hear me? Okay. So there are three things I would like you to do. One is to think big, to think really in big visions. Very, very important tool. As you can see, I'm the founder of 1MillionStartups. It's a very flat structure, a network. We're aiming to have 1 million members, entrepreneurs from across the globe by 2020. It's quite a vision. It is about empowering entrepreneurs from across the world to come together and to work together, to build a community, a purpose-driven community, as to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. What are the Sustainable Development Goals and what is entrepreneurship in general? Let me tell you a story. 4 guys, all 4 of them have diabetes. Living with diabetes on an everyday basis is quite difficult. It's a pain. So you have to measure things, you have to do things. So one guy almost died because he didn't do the right things every day. So he said, okay, let me develop an app so that I can help myself and go through my day. It turns out that when they developed an app, that there are about 400 million people across the world who have the same problem. That's entrepreneurship. So if you want to decide on which problem do you want to solve, what do you want to be doing, think about the things that really drives you crazy. Each and everyone has the one thing that every single day you're like, this drives me crazy. So what do you do about it? You do something about it, try to think of how could you solve that. That's about thinking this solution-oriented. Solve a problem and think about the solution. But when you do that, think big. I mean, of course, let me tell you, if I came here and I said I want to support 3 startups, do you think that would be enough for me to stand in front of you and tell you a story about it? Size matters. We still live in times where numbers matters. Entrepreneurs as such, really nobody really cares about them because they are small. There are 3 here, then 5 there. But on the other hand, you never know which one is going to be the next unicorn. We live in times where as companies started, within 18 months, it's already worth $1 billion. And there are 15 employees in the company. So the whole structures of numbers changing, but still, the whole idea is about having really numbers. Our goal is to have 1 million out there. That means that 1 million people coming together, 1 million companies creating solutions on one single platform could really make a difference and can really change it. Who do we want to have on the platform? People like yourself. Let me hear again, how many of you are entrepreneurs or will be entrepreneurs or could become entrepreneurs? Aye. Again, so the next generation entrepreneurs, who is the next entrepreneur? Aye. We're getting there. I would really like you to think in big visions and in big goals. It makes life much more fun. Why is that? Let's imagine we do not succeed with, we just make 100,000, 10,000. Still, I would have enabled facility that would help one way or another 10,000 people to achieve their dream business and to create their dream business. Quite something. Even if it's not big, still it's more than before. The second thing is, when you have this big vision, you need to think about acting step by step. The big vision is necessary, you need to know where you're heading, but you need to be able to do the single steps, small steps that are necessary to get there. So the acting is step by step. And the third thing, and that's what we have been speaking about earlier, is about disconnecting. Please do talk about the vision. Talk to other people. The majority of young people, or the majority of people, when they start their own business, they don't want to talk about it to others because they think they're going to steal my idea, right? So they say, well, I spoke to this one guy and he said, I had these 3 fantastic business ideas and they were all stolen and they made millions with it. And I'm like, really? It's not just about the idea, it's always about the execution, how you do it. Yahoo existed before Google came and Google became bigger. MySpace existed before Facebook came and Facebook was the solution. It is about the execution. The same idea executed in different ways, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same success. So it is about your execution. And if you talk to people, then things happen. If you tell them this is what I want to do, then they know somebody who can achieve something and can give you the resources of everything what you know. And it's also because being an entrepreneur is terribly, terribly difficult. It's terrifying. All the nights, I went through depression, I went through verge of bankruptcy, all of the things that can go in the burnout and all of it, but I will still do it again. It was worth it. Because the excitement of me deciding what I want to do and what I want to achieve and how my impact on the world is going to be, and to get my tribe together to get there, is such an exciting journey. It's beautiful, but it is difficult. You need to pay salaries. You don't know where the money is going to come from. You need to find ways how to get through, and especially if you're innovative. If you're doing something that does not exist on your market, everybody's going to say you're crazy. But that's good. If they don't say you're crazy, then you're not really innovative. If everybody understands what you're doing, then you're not really doing something totally new, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. I've spent the last 10 to 15 years being the crazy one. Everybody thought they should be nice to me. Somehow she's doing something right, and there is something about what she's doing, but I don't really get it where she's going. So I better be nice to her, but I have no clue what she does. But then, considering I was most of the time 3 to 5 years in advance of my time, then 5 years later or 10 years later, they said, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, that it was all about. But you need to survive all this time, and that's really, really important, is to find a way how you can get your own tribe and get them all together to make this through this time. And this is where this ecosystem is really very important. I'm really, really very grateful for being here today at the conference and seeing how many people are interested to be part of this, and especially to Protec, and really, like, you do have the potential of to create something very special. What did we say? A very young population that speaks languages and can do, obviously, things. As soon as you go out of Albania, you do great stuff. So, I mean, you might as well try it here. And if you think that your country is not kind of, it's not really working, what if you were, if you were born on an island in the middle of the Atlantic and the full population of your country was 60,000? Would you then say, I really have a hard time, I don't have all the necessary resources? Sometimes you can compare to that. I mean, if you were born in Bermuda, you would be really in the middle of the Atlantic with 60,000 people, inhabitants of your country, an island country. But they invest into entrepreneurs, they work on that because that's the only way they can do it. So it's about you not sitting back, it's about you connecting. And what I would like you to do is today, when you go out of this conference, first, connect back to the organizers. That's the first important thing. Give them the feedback. What do you want to have? And secondly, is really try to talk. Is it what can you contribute? Is that what you said, that they should pick up one thing? What can you contribute? What is the one single little thing? Or what is your passion, your dream, what you love doing that you can contribute? About this love doing, I want just to say a short story. I used to teach also in a high school many, many years ago. And I loved that because I had to work with this 14 years old. And I was trying to tell them, you can do whatever you want and you can live your dream. And I would ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? And this one girl, she said, I wanted to be an astronaut, but now it's too late. And I was like, what? I mean, you're 14. And she's already like, it's too late. No way I can do that. And that just, I couldn't stop thinking about it. What's wrong with that idea? What happened there? We spoke to each other, and we realized that, in fact, it was not about her being an astronaut. What she wanted is to be in space. Honestly speaking, for her to be an astronaut in the surrounding environment where she was, the chances were really very little. But the chances of her getting to space have increased tremendously. She was not too late, she was too early. The chances that, it was a tourism school, the chances that she might end up being a manager of a hotel in space, on a spaceship in space or on the moon, are greater than ever. And she might get there. There will be ways how we will be traveling. I will certainly travel to space, so in terms of visions and ideas. But it's about what we do. Very often we concentrate, because at that time the only way to go to space was being an astronaut, we fix on that path, how to get there, instead of realizing that what we want to achieve and try to find another way how to get there. You see the difference? It's not we shouldn't concentrate on the path, what we know how we can get there. It's more about what do we want to achieve and try to think a way how we can get there. And there it is, this young boy, and he goes, well, I understand all you're talking, but in fact, what I love doing is watching reality shows, eating chips, and drinking Coke. What job is there for me? Any suggestions? Producer? Well, they got to have something.
And if you have that love, that natural inclination, it took them to a career.
To a career? Well, a very simple thought. In any big department store, there is a security department. What do people do there? They watch on screen people shopping, reality show, and they can have their Coke and they can have their chips. All right? Please use your imagination. Try to come up with things that are important to you and try to get ways and find ways. Talk to anybody. If there is anybody in the world that you would like to talk, and that could be a mentor or somebody you want to ask for an advice, go for it. I wanted to meet the Dalai Lama, and it took me years until I got there, but I got there. I wanted to give an award to a famous big musician, and it took me 4 years until I got there, and I got there. Just don't lose sight of that. That's my timer. The entrepreneurship is not just about the business. It's about using your mindset, your power, and your creativity to create something that did not exist before in the way you are doing that. And ideally, and because of the millennials, and because we are kind of destroying our world, and because there is no chance of anybody here in Albania, and Albania as a country, to work on its own without being connected, there is no way you can win without connecting globally, or at least regionally, or at least go outside of your own borders and somewhere. Try to connect to like-minded people. I mean, the vision of getting 1 million entrepreneurs from across the world, at the moment we have 500 startups from 65 countries. These are all people that have the same mindset, the same values. We share the same values, and they are all across. I have more in common with somebody in New York than maybe my neighbor. Look beyond your borders. Look what excites you. You have all the power you can. There are very smart people around you that are ready to support you. But you need to say, I want something. You need to voice. If you don't do that, how will I know that you want to do something with your life? How many of you want to be a millionaire? The rest don't want to? You want to be billionaires, maybe? Okay, I'll repeat the question. How many of you want to become millionaires? Okay. What are you going to do about it? Set a plan, focus on that, create value, do something that is important to the world, that you are passionate about, and connect to others. And I would love to see you, all millionaires and billionaires, get back to me, or let me know how I can help you to get there. I believe it's about setting the goals. It's not just about having the numbers. Better is not, more is not always better. But it is about having a better quality of life and having a greater impact on society. I really would love you to become millionaires. Do something you're passionate about. Let me know what you're about doing. I'm very easy to find, so just go and on the platform find me. And come back to the organizers and to all the people that are ready to support you here so that you can have your own global career, your own global vision, and work on it. Thank you very much. Thank you.